Hey guys, Rick Stone here from the website Our Stony Acres. Welcome to our YouTube channel. While you're here, please make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell so that you get notice when we release new gardening videos, which happens several times a month. All right, so this is the next installment in our monthly planting guide series for zones 5 and 6. And today we're going to be talking about what you can plant during the month of May. Okay, so I'm sitting out in my garden. I live in the zone 6, so I love this video. You can see things are starting to come up in our garden. We've got onions up, we've got peas coming up, we've got a few tomatoes planted in Walla Waters. May is the time for you to be really serious about getting your garden in zones 5 and 6. So a lot of stuff that you can be planting this month in these zones. Okay, so let's get started. First thing, if you are interested at trying your hand at growing some of the squash family plants indoors and then transplanting them outdoors, early May you can still get away with that, okay? So if you've got a few weeks before your last frost, then you can definitely still try some of those indoors. But a little caveat for you, they're not really big on being transplanted, and so you want to use some type of like a paper pot, a decomposable pot, a paper pot, maybe one of those peat pots, something like that, so that when you transplant them out, you don't have to disturb the roots. But if you've still got a couple of weeks before your last frost, you could try things like cucumbers, winter squashes, summer squashes, and melons. All of those you could try indoors, but you only want to have them indoors for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. You're just going to give them just a little bit of a head start and then transplant them out into the garden, okay? So those are some things you could do indoors. Now, outdoors, still plenty of cool season crops that you can be planting outdoors during the month of May. We're starting to approach our frost date. Some of you it may have already passed. For us, it's May 15th, and so we've got a couple of weeks left. But there are still cool season crops that can be going outside, and those would include cabbage, beets, lettuce, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, radishes, turnips, maybe even some parsnips. All of those could be planted outdoors in your garden before your last frost date, and you still should be fine with all of those, okay? Then, once your last frost date rolls around, we've got a ton of stuff that you can be planting, all of which are warm season crops. So let's get into those. So after your last frost date, you can be planting corn. Both popcorn and sweet corn can be planted after your last frost date in May. In zones 5 and 6. Make sure you don't plant those two together. Corn and sweet corn have to be separated by at least 100 feet or they'll cross-pollinate and it ruins this year's crop. That's the only vegetable that this year's crop will be ruined by cross-pollination. So make sure you don't plant them together, okay? Tomatoes and peppers, as soon as your last chance of frost is gone, get your tomatoes and your peppers out as quick as you can. Or you can do something like I've done. You look in the background here, let's see, there we go. I've got some Walla Waters where I've got tomatoes already planted in those, okay? Other things that you can be planting, warm season crops would include eggplant, melons, all of your melons, cantaloupes, watermelon, Crenshaw, all of the musk melons can be planted by seed or by start out in the garden during the month of May. Then summer squashes, so zucchini, yellow crookneck squash, patapan squashes, all of those, again, either by seed or by start, can be planted during the month of May. Winter squashes, and so your winter squashes are things like pumpkins, butternut squash, acorn squash, banana squash, spaghetti squash. All of those can be planted by seed or by start during May. Cucumbers, definitely can be planting plenty of cucumbers this time of month. Potatoes can go in May, plenty of time still to get a good potato harvest. And in fact, I like to plant most of my potatoes in May because that means they mature kind of towards the end of September when things are starting to cool down. And it's easier for me to find a cool spot to store them if I wait that long. So as long as you've got about 100 days for them to mature, you can still get potatoes planted for sure during the month of May. Beans, any type of bean, whether it's a pole bean or a bush bean, a green bean or a shelling bean, any of those can be planted during the month of May, and those will even slide into June as well. All of your herbs, most of your herbs are frost tolerant. There's a few that aren't. Basil is one that comes to mind, but all of the different herbs that you're thinking of planting can go in during the month of May. Okra, collards, parsnips, I think we already mentioned those. Everbearing strawberries, if you've got everbearing strawberries that you've got plants, Those can go in May. Even June-bearing strawberries could go in May. Remember to remove any blossoms on the June-bearing strawberries this year, because you want them focusing on growing the plant. And then sweet potatoes. So if you live in zones 5 and 6, May is the month to get your sweet potatoes in. And again, sweet potatoes are way more frost sensitive than regular potatoes, so you've got to watch out for frost. So if you're going to put them out before your last frost date, you need to give them some protection. But now is the time to be planting sweet potatoes as well. Okay, so huge list for the month of May. Lots of good stuff that you can be getting in your garden. So get out there and get it planted, all right? Okay, let's see. What else did I want to talk to you? I did want to mention to you guys a little bit about the Gardening Academy. So the Gardening Academy is our monthly membership service that provides you with weekly content that helps you become a better gardener. So we have workshops, planting guides, Q&A sessions, expert interviews, all kinds of fantastic stuff that we are talking about every month in the Gardening Academy. And we have a new topic every month, and just a lot of fun. We have a great group of people, really good community that we're building there. And so I would like to invite you to go take a look at the Gardening Academy and see if that's something that you might want to enroll in, because I know you're going to love it. Everybody that's in there is just really enjoying it, and we're having a blast. So there's a link down in the description below that will take you out to the Gardening Academy page and let you know a little bit more about it. But I would just love to have you join. So look down there below. Okay? All right, that is all I have for you this week, my friends. And I would encourage you again to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you feel like I missed anything, leave it down in the comments below. And that's all I have. So everybody have a great week. Happy gardening.